Hi there, my name is Ari. I'm an oboist. I sometimes make YouTube videos and stuff. Welcome back to my channel. Thanks for watching. So obviously, as you can see from the title of this video and the thumbnail, like this is about oboe alla tromba. So like buzzing into the oboe to make a sound. And I've been, excuse the pun, buzzing to make this video for about like 6-7 months now. This started back in November when I was hired to play a show of new music and included this like big premiere 15, like 20-minute, like major new piece that, you know, I'm very excited. I love new music, love it, sign me up. It was getting closer and closer to the time of the concert and we like still hadn't gotten the parts and I was like kind of starting to stress about it, like not knowing how difficult it would be. Oftentimes new music has like lots of notes that you have to learn. So I like to get my practicing in early and then, hopefully it's all settled in the fingers by the time the show comes around and I'm like totally ready to go. So we get the music and I look at it and instantly I'm kind of like worried because the music has tons of oboe alla tromba written in it. About half of the oboe part is oboe alla tromba, which was extremely worrying to me because never ever have I ever played oboe alla tromba before. And not only that, I couldn't even like buzz my lips, like the thing that brass players do like into their mouthpiece to make a sound, like I could never had been able to successfully do that for an extended period of time. And I learned. I was able to do that. And so I really made the concerted effort that I was like, I'm gonna learn how to do this because this is like a major piece and I really want to be able to do it. And then I put it towards the oboe reed well, which is like where you're supposed to buzz to make that sound. And unfortunately, like that really was super unsuccessful. I do know that some people can do it. So basically, I looked on the magic of the internet to like try to find some sort of clue, help, like a tutorial, like I don't know, about oboe alla tromba, like someone who must have had an experience playing in this style. So I found the one video that's like by McGowan, and here's like the relevant like little part where he plays. So I knew it was possible someone can do it, which means like if somebody can do it, then I mean hopefully I can do it too. Like I sort of wasn't taking into account the physiology of like, someone's lips versus the size of the reed well. And I do think that Mike and I have different size lips. I don't have filler, these are all natural. But generally, like the size of the oboe reed well is so small compared to brass mouthpieces. So it was really, really, really difficult for me to make a sound at all on the instrument and then to like find any sort of consistency with it. Even when I was like half decent at buzzing, like buzzing and actually getting a tone through the oboe was like horrendously difficult for me. Here are some of my first attempts, like successful attempts we'll say, because like some of them were so bad that I was like recording it and like literally nothing came out after 2 or 3 minutes of trying. So I reached out to a handful of people right away that I was like, okay, well, I can't figure out how to do this on my own, but like somebody can do it. So I actually reached out to Mike. I found him on Instagram, was like, hey-o, like, any tips, any advice? And then he basically was like, oh, like I was making these videos for myself, had no idea. The video itself had like elements of it being a joke. Like it was like, you can use this if you forget your vuvuzela for your soccer match, right? So it's like kind of like tongue-in-cheek, like this isn't really a serious way to play the oboe, right? Like a big part of us as oboe players is how we manipulate the reed and blow into the reed. So this is like really a totally different element, and it's like what makes an oboe player an oboe player, right? It's not just like holding and owning, an expensive oboe and moving your fingers. Like it's so much more than that. and this was just completely and totally out of my comfort zone. So Mike was basically giving me some advice. I had sent him a video, but I was still quite worried because I really wasn't able to get it very consistent. And then I also reached out to Jacqueline Leclair, who's the oboe professor at McGowan University, and she's like a big new music person. Has had so many pieces written for her, and she basically was like, "Oh, I've never had to do this in a piece," and that was like red flag for me. But she was super kind and made a little video for me, and here's a little bit of that.
The technique is basically this. And what doesn't seem feasible is the low notes. I mean, going down to low E is pretty shaky. Lower notes are, because the vibration's so small, you know, and so in my experience, low D, C, B are not really a thing. So, and I would ignore the inhaling, forget inhaling, it tickles like crazy. All I can do is that. Good luck.
Again, I was sort of starting to look at the fact that like maybe these people's lips are like just a different size than mine, which makes it so much more difficult to buzz into the reed well. It's still my current theory, but I had to figure out a way to make this work. And I reached out to the composer. Composer totally doubled down, was like, you can figure it out, you can do it, it's possible, and sent me a clip of like a different piece of his that somehow a poor oboist was able to do it. So next up, I reached out to Keith Sorrels. If you've been watching this channel for a while, you know my good friend Keith. He sponsored the like $100 eBay oboe video that I made a long time ago, and also is like currently the professor at Middle Tennessee State University, and also like an amazing oboist and oboe technician, and like just a machinist. So I was like basically like, hey, can you make me a mouthpiece that goes into the reed well? Because that'll just give me a little bit more surface area, a little bit more room for the lips to buzz and actually create a tone. I think he made a total of 3 different mouthpieces, one of which was kind of a bust because like the cup and place for it, the lips to vibrate was too small. But he did mail me 2, and this is the one that I ended up using, and it fits right into the reed well, and I was able to just buzz straight into that. So it was like functioning, and I was just overjoyed when I got it, and I made this like little funny like Instagram story.
Hello. I would like to thank Keith Sorrels because now I never have to make reeds again. I will be exclusively playing Oboe Alla Tromba, which sounds like this.
When I got to the gig, I ended up having to use 2 different oboes because like the piece was so difficult in terms of like it had everything in it. It had like trills, super high like quarter tones, flutter tonguing, like timbral trills, like what have you, like everything was in there. It was like the kitchen sink. So because there's one part where I had to play Oboe Alla Tromba. By the way, there was like Oboe Alla Tromba that was both like inhale and exhale. I still can't really do the inhale at all. There's a part where I have to like play Oboe Alla Tromba and then have like 1 second to like put the reed in and then play this like high stuff with the reed. And that was basically just like impossible. So I ended up using 2 oboes, one that had the Alla Tromba mouthpiece in it and the other had like a regular oboe reed in it so that I could like just put it down and pick it up and just start playing. That's my Oboe Alla Tromba story. And like, I mean, I love playing new music. Like, I'm all about it. I love bringing a new piece to life. I love exploring like the sonic world of a composer. I love like all the novelty of it is really, really fun. And it's like an exciting collaborative project. And so like, I really don't want people to take this like, oh, Ari just like hates new music, or like Ari is like poo-pooing on composers or whatever. But like truly, this is like, if you're a composer and you're thinking of writing alla tromba, this is me basically saying like, consider other options. Like there's so many cool things that the oboe can do that basically make use of our training or make use of like, you know, what we're good at doing or like what is unique about the instrument. For me, I felt when this was happening that really what they should do is like basically hire a trumpet player or a French horn player to just like hold an oboe and mess around with the keys and buzz into it, because that actually aligns more with their musical training as opposed to mine. I know which fingers to put down, but like really that was basically, it was basically impossible to get the pitches that were asked for. So I reached out to the composer about that, and he was basically, oh, just follow the contours of the music. So I was trying to do that, but mostly in order to do that, I had to do like mostly low fingerings and wasn't able to play the fingerings that I needed to according to the sheet music. That's sort of my main thought around it. And if you are someone who needs to play Oboe Alla Tromba for something and wants to do their best with that, but if you're having trouble buzzing into the reed well, which is just super, 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 super tiny, then I would recommend getting something like this made for you. You can reach out to Keith, and I think that he'll make you one if you ask nicely. He is an absolute sweetheart. We'll say it was a very challenging gig for me, for sure. Anyway, if you're still watching, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, and you can find me on Instagram at Oboe Alla, and please subscribe. Thanks so much, and have a great day.